right, let's talk about the future. The year 2026. It's really not that far off, and for any business out there, it's shaping up to be a huge turning point. Now, the key to winning isn't some new gadget or a flashy marketing trick. It's a person. It's the data analyst. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why this role is going from a nice-to-have to, honestly, the most valuable player on any team that wants to win.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about the big challenge that businesses are going to face in 2026. Then, we'll see how data is basically the compass you need to navigate through it. After that, we'll get into the 4 different levels of insight an analyst can give you. Look at some real-world examples of how this pays off, and then wrap things up by talking about what it really means to build a business culture that's ready for the future.
Okay, so let's jump right into that 2026 challenge. You know the old playbook for how to succeed in business? It's pretty much obsolete. Why? Well, because the pace of change has just gone into hyperdrive, and the amount of data coming at us from customers, from our own operations, from competitors, it's overwhelming.
And that brings us to a really important question. For decades, you had leaders who prided themselves on their experience, their intuition, that gut instinct. But in a world that is literally overflowing with information, is that gut feeling really enough to win anymore?
This right here really breaks down the choice. On one side, you've got intuition. And look, relying on your gut is kind of like rolling the dice in the fog. It's a gamble. It's so easy for bias to creep in, and it usually means you're just reacting to problems as they pop up. But on the other side, the data-driven path, well, it's clear. Decisions are based on actual evidence, which makes them objective, fast, and proactive. You're not just reacting to what happened, you're actually anticipating what's coming next.
So, if flying by your gut is a huge gamble, what's the alternative? Well, that brings us to our next idea: data as the modern compass. In this huge ocean of information we're all swimming in, data analysis gives you that clear direction you need to actually get where you want to go. So, what is data analysis, really? Think of it like this. It's the process of finding the story that's hidden inside all the numbers. An analyst takes all that raw, messy data, sales figures, website clicks, you name it, and they clean it up, they organize it, and then they dig in. The goal is super simple. Turn all that chaos into clear, useful insights that can answer a company's biggest questions.
And this isn't just magic. It's a real structured process. It all starts with figuring out the right question to ask. From there, the analyst gathers the data, and this is super important. They clean it up to make sure it's accurate. Then they can start the analysis. But it doesn't stop there. The final steps are to figure out what it all means, and then visualize it, turning all those complex numbers into a story that literally anyone in the company can understand and use.
Now, here's a key thing to understand. Not all data analysis is the same. There are different layers of insight, and each one builds on the last. Let's look at the 4 levels that take a business from just looking in the rearview mirror to actually shaping what's ahead.
So level 1, the most basic level, is descriptive analysis. This is your rearview mirror. It just summarizes what's already happened to give you a clear picture of the past. Things like a weekly sales report or a dashboard showing your website traffic. That's all descriptive analysis. It tells you what happened.
Next up, level 2, diagnostic analysis. This is where the detective work really starts. So, if your descriptive report shows that sales dipped last month, this is the part where you dig in and figure out why. Was it a competitor's big sale? A glitch on your website? This answers that crucial why behind the what.
At level 3, we make a big shift from looking back to looking forward. This is predictive analysis. By using all that historical data, analysts can start to forecast what's probably going to happen next. They can answer questions like, which of our customers are most likely to leave? Or, what's our biggest seller going to be next quarter? It's almost like having a data-backed crystal ball.
And that brings us to the highest level. Level 4, prescriptive analysis. This is like having a strategic advisor on your team. It doesn't just predict the future, it recommends the best thing to do about it. So if we know which customers might leave, it can tell us the exact offer we should send to convince them to stay. This is the ultimate goal, right? Turning that insight directly into a winning strategy.
Okay, so all this sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like when you put it into practice? Let's dive into some of the real, tangible wins that businesses get when they go all in on data.
Let's start with a hard number, because this is pretty incredible. Studies show that companies using data to drive their marketing see, on average, a 5 times higher return on investment. Seriously, 5 times. That's not just a small bump,
That's an absolute game changer. It proves this isn't just about making smarter choices, it's about making way more profitable ones.
The first huge benefit? You actually get to understand your customers on a whole new level. By analyzing their behavior, analysts help businesses create personalized products, predict what customers are going to need next, and stop wasting money on ads that just don't connect. It's all about building loyalty by showing people that you get them.
And the wins aren't just with customers. Data analysis is absolutely critical for making a company run better on the inside. Analysts can pinpoint bottlenecks in your supply chain, find ways to cut down on waste, and make sure your resources are being used in the smartest way possible. It just makes the whole operation leaner and more efficient.
And all of that builds toward the biggest prize of all, smarter, more strategic growth. Data gives you the foresight to spot new market opportunities before your competitors do, to see what they're up to, and to handle risks before they turn into huge problems. It really becomes the engine that drives all of your innovation.
So it's pretty clear that a data analyst is an incredibly powerful asset. But here's the thing, to really unlock that potential, you can't just hire one person. It takes a fundamental shift in how the entire organization thinks.
This brings us to a super important idea called data literacy. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The ability for everyone in a company, not just the data geeks, to understand, talk about, and use data. When your marketing team, your sales team, your executives, when they can all speak the language of data, the whole company just gets smarter and faster.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? A truly data-driven culture isn't just about having all the answers. It's about being curious. It's about empowering everyone to ask new and better questions. Because that constant questioning, that's where the real breakthroughs happen.
So as we're looking ahead to 2026, the real risk isn't the cost of investing in data and analytics. The real risk is the massive cost of being left behind by all the competitors who are already using it as their secret weapon. So, the only question left to ask is, are you ready?